Okay.
Fancy.
Hi, everyone that's coming in. Welcome. It's great to see all of you. We are going to start in just a couple of moments. We're just letting people join in from the waiting room. So thank you for your patience. We're grateful for your time today. So you are joining the Education and Workforce Committee Roundtable meeting with Education and Industry. And this is an incredible committee that is a part of the Richardson Chamber. And so there's amazing people that are on this committee that are leading incredible actions in our community to make sure that we're connecting all the people together so that we have a thriving community. And so we're grateful for your time and for joining us. If you thought you were signing up for, a show and dance about something else, you might be in the wrong place, but we're so glad you're here. So stick with us. We also hope that you will really feel free and comfortable to contribute. We're going to have a very wonderful and informative discussion, and it's also informal. So we're excited to hear from you. To start us off this afternoon, we have the most amazing Dr. Jeannie Stone, our superintendent of Richardson ISD. She is going to share just a few thoughts and for all of us just to kick us off. Dr. Stone?
Well, thank you and hello. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to Sari and her whole team and everyone from the Chamber Education Committee, the Workforce Committee. Thank you all for being here. I just wanted to give you a greeting and an expression of our appreciation from the district for your interest and your involvement to support our vision of seeing every student, ensuring that every student has a pathway to a meaningful life beyond our doors. And your involvement with us is so important, and the work that the Chamber does to support the work is so important. And I just wanted to be here with you to just express appreciation. We graduated our students this past weekend. We had our 4 graduations at our 4 high schools, and our hope is that as they cross the stage and leave us, that they know where they're going next and that they're on their way to a path that's going to lead them to a great life. And we can't do that alone. And so your involvement is integral in that mission. The other thing, though, that's really important to us is to have your voice in the work and your involvement and connections and partnerships in the work as we're trying to do that. Because we are educators and we go into our classrooms and we know that we're experts in that, but you are the experts in the real world of work and everything we need to know to set our kids up for success. So just appreciation again as we close up our year, and we're looking forward into the future of coming out of this crazy year of the pandemic. We're so excited to be looking forward into the future now. And our theme for next year is actually going to be back to the future. and looking forward to, and we're really excited about that. So just thank you for being here and partnering with us. We appreciate you all so much. Back to you, Sari.
Thank you, Dr. Stone. And thank you for those of you who just joined us. We're so excited that you're on with us. I see so many amazing people from industry, from education, from the chamber. Everyone is really committed to our communities, and I'm just thankful for that. I'm Sari McCoy, and I serve Richardson ISD as the Executive Director of Career and Technical Education. Those are fancy words to talk about vocational education that you and I had back in high school. Do you guys remember shop and home ec? Well, we've come a long way since then. And I'm so excited to share with you that we have programs of study that prepare students for the world of work in pretty much any career that you can imagine. So this is exactly where you need to be and we need to be. That's together, talking, sharing our thoughts, our ideas, our wants, our needs. And just as Dr. Stone mentioned, it's so important for you to know that you do have a voice. We really are intentional about developing a high quality, high sustainable workforce pipeline for our community, for your organization. So we want to hear from you. We would love for you to engage with us. Make sure that we are preparing the workforce for what you need. So if you think about your company and the fact that you have a 5-year plan, the workforce that's going to step into your entry-level jobs in 5 years are our current 8th graders. That's just incredible to think about. I just have to pause about that sometimes. And so we want to make sure that we are truly preparing those students for what you need. And so they're may go straight into the workforce or they may go straight into college, but they will be ready. And we want to make sure that they have the knowledge and the tools, the soft skills, those employability skills, every certification, whatever it is that's necessary to be successful for not just your entry-level job, but to build a career within your organization. That's what we want to prepare our students for. And we cannot do that without you. So I hope you received those questions that we proposed to you in the invitation that you got. I hope you've had a chance to kind of consider those. We're going to just talk through those today. And Beth Brown, like I mentioned earlier, is going to moderate. She's a coordinator in the CTE department. I've got other team members on. Creighton Bryan is the director. Christy Safransky, she's our counselor. We've got amazing teachers on this call. So I'm so excited because they'll have brilliant things to contribute. So if you're an educator, if you're a business person, if you're a community just lover of Richardson, you know, we are so excited you're here and we want you to speak and know that you have a voice. If you will, the first time that you contribute to the conversation, if you'll just remember to introduce yourself and tell us what context you're in, so where you're coming from in your organization, that would be great. So I'm going to pass it off to Beth and she's going to kick us off with our first question.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. I do work for Richardson ISD in the CTE department, but I also serve as one of the Education and Workforce Committee's tri-chairs. And we are always working to bring business and education together. And so I'm excited about this roundtable discussion, and I hope you will be happy to share and we want to listen to you, and I'm going to try to take as many notes as I can, but you are also welcome to reach out to us by email, which we can put that in our email in the chat as well. So I hope you reviewed the 5 questions, and I will go over them, and I'm going to start with question number 1, and we really want to hear from you all. I think a lot of times when we get together, we report to you and we tell you what we're doing in our education world, but we want to know what's going on in your world. So question number 1 asks about what are your current and anticipated hiring needs? Oh, good, Sari, thank you for putting that in there. Thank you. We can continue to do that in the chat. Put the question in. What are your current and anticipated hiring needs? So don't be shy. Someone unmute.
I'm Judy Fishpaw with Spring Hill Suites in Richardson. and work for the hotels. And truthfully, our current needs are front desk agents and housekeepers. As far as training in the schools, education is incredible and it's very, very important, but still the hospitality industry is one of the few industries you can get in and advance, and you don't necessarily need a college degree. So I know a lot of kids, college isn't for everybody, but this is one industry that you can excel in and not necessarily have that 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
Thank you for that, Judy. Does anybody else want to have a little input there?
Hi, I'm Robin Missa, and I am with Barry Appleman and Leiden here in Richardson. We're a corporate immigration law firm. Most of the time, what you kind of see is for hiring needs and things is somebody with a bachelor's degree as well. But the one good thing about BAL and what we've kind of gone towards is really looking at entry-level candidates at an admin level. We also have a production assistant program that we have here that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a college degree. It's a way to kind of get in, get your foot a little bit wet. I know in the past, working in a law firm, you typically don't hear that. You don't want to hear that in an interview process. But we did realize that in this industry, we're wanting to train. We're willing to train. We do see a lot of value in people that don't necessarily have the opportunities to go into college just yet. People that are coming straight out of high school don't really know where they want to go, may be willing to go into the law field, but don't necessarily know what kind of field that's going to be for. And so we're looking at those kind of needs as well. And again, we're also looking at people that do have college degrees for our legal staff.
That's all great information. I know we hear a lot about businesses want to be able to train the employees, and I'd like to think of, so when you think about high school and kids coming out of high school, what are some of the, well, I guess I'm getting into question number 2. So I don't want to go there. And if anybody has more input on question number 1.
Beth, this is Bill Sproul, the CEO of the Chamber. We completed a recent membership survey, and it does indicate that a majority of the respondents are anticipating accelerating their hiring in the next 6 to 12 months. I would say that there is tremendous demand on both the low and the high end of the skill set. To kind of Judy's point earlier, if you can get the kids ready to graduate, having good interpersonal skills, basic reading and writing and computer literacy, they may not need a certificate or a degree to get a job in this market. There's a lot of positions that are begging for people, particularly in the service industry, whether it's retail or hospitality, et cetera. Recent surveys by a national group continue to show the strong demand for high-skilled tech workers in the Dallas area. We are, depending upon the month they do the survey, we're either the number 2 or the number 3 hottest market in the country for tech job openings. And there's a gap between supply and demand. And so we've talked about this a lot. We're so appreciative of the efforts that RISD has made with our membership affiliate Tech Titans to do all the STEM camps. Just absolutely thrilled about, the STEM for All around the Berkner feeder pattern. I mean, those I think will, lay long-term benefits. Really like all the partnerships between the school district, our friends at the community colleges and the universities to, ladder certificates. But the quicker we can, at the high end, we can get more of that workforce out there, the better we're going to be able to, supply the demand that's out there. So I just see a lot of demand at both the low end and the high end of the skill spectrum.
That's a great point there, and I do love that you can report to us on survey results that you've been doing with the chamber. Do we have any?
Beth, I just want to echo that. Thanks, Bill. Great to see you. I'm so glad that you could join us today. I also just want to share some excitement too. We have some Plano ISD friends on this call, so we love them and are so glad they're here. And I think that really hearing from our community businesses and stuff, we really have a great opportunity to build a large talent pool with, you know, Richardson and Plano and other school districts that are around us. And we really are focusing on those soft skills that Bill kind of touched on a little bit. You know, I mean, yes, the academic, the reading and writing is critical, but it's not just about preparing our students to gain employment because they have experience or a certification, but it's really about making sure that they can sustain that employment. Because that's really, you know, we hire for the technical and fire for the soft, you know, skills, right? And so we really want to let you guys know that I know for sure for Plano and Richardson that we are definitely focused on those things just to support the information we just heard from Bill. Sorry, Beth, thank you.
Oh, that's fine. So I think that is a good opportunity to move into our second question, but I do want to acknowledge our Education and Workforce Committee because there are a lot of members. I know I just looked through all your pictures, and this idea is really from our committee. So I want to give them credit. So I hope that some of you will volunteer and speak here as we get through the questions. So let's look at question number 2 because we were kind of getting into it a little bit. But what qualifications are essential for your entry-level employee? And all of these questions are in the chat, but this one really focuses on what do you want with that entry-level employee?
Just like a willingness to learn. In my industry of hotels, you have to like people. I personally don't, but overall, you have to like people. You have to have a sense of humor. You've got to, listening skills are huge. You've got to listen to the crazy stories that people and excuses people will give you. And smile. You can't, you just, if you're not out there like a cheerleader would be phenomenal as a front desk agent. Somebody who is into chess, not that they can't excel somewhere else, but you know, to me, they might not be as enthusiastic as, you know, another person, but you do need to have personality and willing to listen, the good and the bad. I mean, people will tell you stories that you don't want to hear. They'll share information you do not want to hear, but you just have to smile right through it.
If I can add on to that one, some of the things I'd like to see with our entry-level employees that I've gotten to work with during this past year is their ability to get off their phone, be able to use Microsoft products, because most companies, a lot have gone to Apple. I get that, and a lot of the entry levels are great with Apple, but the businesses are still on Microsoft. They need to have those skills and know what those are. They also need to realize that it's not all just on your phone. I had one person that kept missing deadlines because she kept checking her email on her phone, but I'm emailing her work email address. So she didn't really, there was a disconnect there. So just making sure that those kind of skills that we take for granted because we've been doing it for a while are also just at least mentioned for some of these students as they're rising up the ranks through the grades.
That's a great point, Amy. Go ahead. Is that Shyla?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I'm Shyla Parker, and I'm on the EWF committee, but I also own my own company. Yes, but I also own my own professional organizing company, and it's all about problem solving. And I think that kids these days, they don't have the critical thinking and problem solving skills. I used to teach 7th grade, and I teach at the college as well, and I know that it's not there. We don't make them write essays a lot anymore. And those word problems, we give them multiple choice instead because they complained about things. But I know in the workforce, they want problem solvers. And so that will help people move up. So I really just would like to focus on that. And the other thing, since a lot of entry-level jobs, just fast food, whatever it might be, working with money, I learned the skill my first job at 16 at Sonic. I learned how to count back change to people. So if they gave me a 20 and it was $10, I knew how to count back the change where it added up to 20. And I think that's a very, very big skill. Now they just hand you the change. They don't even know what it is. So those would be my suggestions.
I agree with that, Shyla, and heaven forbid that the computer system goes down and you can't even check out at the grocery store if that happens. So
I
I
know. They should give them the Sonic car hops, how I had the change machine on my waist. We didn't have the card and things, so you had to count your change back.
it's a great skill. I still use it. I do love your comment about problem solving, and Amy, yours about email. I'm also working with our Richardson Mayor Summer Internship Program, and we've been doing a lot of training with the students. And just those little things of use your computer for your email. That is a great point, because they are used to using their phone for everything, and I do love that comment. Does anyone else have any suggestions or comments about entry-level employees and what you expect?
I do.
Go ahead, Robin.
Just kind of brushing over a little bit about being able to really verbally communicate with persons, not only inside the organization, but outside the organization. I think that has a lot to be said for being confident in yourself, knowing how to speak, especially during interviews, feeling empowered to know who you are and being okay with that. Focusing on your strengths, and also, realizing there are some weaknesses that we all have, but we can play up on those. So the verbal communication between, within, I think, younger kids, it's very hard. Like we kind of discussed, you have your texts, nobody really calls anymore, really writes. And that's really going to help out with the second part, is being able to have teamwork structure, to work within a team. I know not all jobs have that at entry levels, but at some point in your career, as you're working for career progression, you're going to have to learn how to work in a team structure, and kind of like what somebody had said earlier, really making decisions and solving problems. All that kind of goes hand in hand. And I think we miss that a lot of times just because of technology, which technology is great, but to have that empowerment and confidence in yourself will go a long way.
Thank you,
Beth,
Robin.
we've been
Bill?
fortunate to have, I think we're on our third Richardson Mayor Summer Intern with us here at the Chamber. I've always been so impressed with the quality of the students that are sent to us, but in particular, their preparation. And it seems to me that, I wish every person who graduates from RISD would be required to go through that kind of training for job preparation, how to write a resume, how to interview, how to show up on time, how not to get distracted, how to, dress for success, how to collaborate, how to talk intelligently. I mean, all those fundamentals are so important towards, student success upon getting out of high school. And it seems like, the Education is Freedom Foundation and RISD do a really good job of prepping those interns. So I'll turn the question back to you. Is that something that's do you already do some version of that for all students in RISD? Is it feasible to do it for all students?
Beth, I'll jump in here. Oh,
Yes, I was going to say Creighton is on the call. Thank you for stepping in, Creighton.
yes. Like Sarah said earlier, I'm Creighton Bryan. I'm our CTE director here in Richardson ISD. We start embedding soft skills as early as we can. We are K through 12 here in CTE in Richardson ISD. And as we have worked in the past, mainly with 7th through 12th, we are really trying to even start to embed and working for the first time with our elementary school students and really trying to expand those opportunities at the elementary level. We are rolling out a new CCR course this year that's going to allow our 7th graders to really expand on the pathways they have, but we're trying to embed soft skills wherever we can throughout these pathways. Soft skills starting hopefully in the elementary school and building up as we're working through our CCR class in the middle school levels, and then all the way through our pathways and our coherent sequences. We really want our students to experience work-based learning in every single pathway we offer. And that's why partnering with all our partners across the district is so beneficial to us. Everything from mock interviews to real life scenarios scenarios from the workforce. We really want to make sure our students are prepared, and we give them as close to, if it's not an internship or if they're not face-to-face with you guys at some time, that we give them as close to that experience as we possibly can. But no, we hear it day in and day out. Soft skills, especially with technology, the phone and everything, soft skills is something that we have to continue to work on and make sure that the students know how to talk to each other, know how to work as a team, know how to talk to adults, along with just those basic skills. So yes, in short, we are working really hard to make sure that our students come out with those skills that they need to be successful in your job force.
We also, I know many of you participated in iDream either, in the past year or previous years. And one thing that we did is move that down to 6th grade in an effort to really get the kids thinking about their careers. And I know a lot of you have been on those panels, and I love that. And I know that some of these basic fundamental skills are shared through that. But I do agree that the training for RMSIP is very good, and we get a lot of students through that program that have never worked before, and so the fundamental skills are, and they are rising seniors, so we take for granted that everybody knows what professional dress is. A teenager does not. So I appreciate all those comments, and I love the comment about communication. Even in writing an email is not a text, and I know y'all have experienced that. I see some of you smiling, so I get that as well. So is there any other comment, or are we ready to move on to question number 3?
Hey, Beth, can I comment on that from
Sure.
Plano
Thank
ISD?
you so much. One of our Plano ISD friends here.
Hi, good to see some of you. I haven't seen some of you in a while, and then I'm so glad to have the opportunity to be here today. I'm Rhonda Davis, and I'm the Executive Director for Advanced Academics and CCMR. And so one of the things that I'm over in Plano is CTE. We have a director and coordinators, thank God, because it's, it's one of the things I haven't actually worked in, and I've worked in a lot of different areas in school. Anyway, I kind of just wanted to piggyback on what Creighton said as far as what we're doing in PISD. The soft skills do come in through our CTE courses. They also come in, and I know Richardson has this program as well, through our Avid courses and the Avid elective for our kids, and giving speeches, how to have a firm handshake, how to look someone in the eye, and how to advocate for yourself are part of the soft skills that we try to give students through that process, through those courses at least as well, and the soft skills in CTE, and then it's just part of the Avid curriculum. I think you'll also find that some of our courses in the TEKS or the TEKS, however you pronounce that acronym, is that, like in the communications class, that, giving speeches and things like that. The problem is for you guys in the business world is that just like in your own children, some of the things you teach them sink in and some of them do not. I would encourage you, and I've never owned my own business or been the manager of my own business, but I would encourage you guys to be sure that when you employ students, especially the young, or not just students, but young people, and we're talking about the things that, we used to say, instead of dress for success, some of you will remember when we said Sunday dress. Well, that doesn't mean anything anymore either. So, I can wear shorts and flip-flops. Oh, thanks. Okay, that's what Sunday dress might be. But anyway, my point is that setting the expectations, and don't assume that kids know anything, especially our younger ones, even the ones who are coming out of college, guys, they don't know that. But if you set the expectations, just like in the classroom, we always say, if you set the expectations, they'll rise up to it. They know how to rise up to challenges, but I would prompt you as business owners or business workers to make sure they know what the expectations are and don't just assume. That's all, Beth. Thank you for letting me comment.
Wait, Rhonda, could you
Yes,
please
ma'am.
share what those acronyms mean? You laid out a bunch of acronyms like Avid and
Oh, that's awful. I'm so sorry. Please don't tell my superintendent that I talked in educational jargon. So Avid is a college and career ready system that kids can begin. Actually, it begins in elementary school as a whole school program, but in middle school and high school, it is a program for advancement via individual determination. It's been in existence since 1980. It started in California, and it's now it's worldwide, mostly in the United States still though, and it teaches kids not only the soft skills, but it helps kids who would not otherwise be headed to college, but have the potential to be so, to do so, to go to college or to be college ready. And if not college ready, then technical school ready or career ready, that right out of high school, they're prepared for whatever path it is that they want to take. It is an elective course, so kids can take it at 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, 11, 12, if they have room in their schedule for it. And it has been a highly successful system. I mean, that and there's a huge summer institute that trains teachers, trains administrators, trains counselors on using that system to help our kids be college and career ready. Does that help?
I was
Yeah,
going to jump in with it, Shyla. It doesn't just help our students to learn how to study the correct way, how to take notes the correct way in class, and really how to better themselves in the classroom. But it also goes, and those personal skills, they really work hand in hand where they're speaking to each other and they're learning those personal skills. But when they talk about the intentionality of getting you into college, our parents and students don't know how to fill out a FAFSA. They don't know how to write a college essay for scholarships, how to apply for college. And once they get up into those junior and senior years, they really get very intentional about making sure that the students are applying for college, and they do that in class, helping them with their FAFSA, helping them with all those things they need to get into college that we take for granted that we think those students would know or those parents would know. And they really make that process very intentional to get those kids into school and help them to further their education. We integrated it through our early college high school programs. We have multiple PTech campuses and a T-STEM campus. Our students are taking Avid in 9th grade to really kind of get them those study skills they need as we're trying to accelerate those students to be college students and high school students at the same time, because they need those skills on how to study, and they need the skills on how to interact with each other to really be successful in these programs. If we're looking at kids coming out coming out of high school with college degrees too, associate's degrees in college, and straight ready for the workforce. So we're doing everything we can through Avid and through our CTE courses, embedding those skills through our pathways too. So across the board, it is definitely a need, and have multiple avenues to help that out.
Hey, Beth, can I jump in?
Sure.
Okay, I'm Nancy Humphrey. I'm on the school board in Plano, and I'm just going to jump in on what Rhonda said. We also have the Plano Academy High School, and that's top of mind because we just had graduation last night and it didn't rain. Thank goodness. We have 3 more to go. But the Plano Academy High School is a STEAM focus, and it is project-based or problem-based learning. And so our students come through 4 years of high school, and they learn how to do solve a problem over a 6-week period, and then they present. And I remember one year the students solved a problem for Southwest Airlines back of house. And I remember hearing from the managers at Southwest Airlines, and they said, oh my goodness, your kids are more well-developed than some of our own employees. So it's a great program that helps launch the students in those soft skills, as well as all the intellectual skills and academic skills that they need.
Hey, Beth, this is Kim.
Kim.
If I might make one suggestion, if that's maybe if one of our educators could put the acronyms in a chat. I heard FAFSA, I heard STEAM, I heard Avid and a number of others that many of us may not know what they are. So if somebody who's more adept at that would put them in the chat, I think that would be very helpful.
I'll work on that.
Thank
And Shyla, did we leave anything off? Kim had a good summary there.
No, I think that was it. Oh, and CTE.
CTE.
Yes.
We are in CTE, we're career and technical education, but Creighton will put that in there as well.
Got it.
And Beth, I wanted to add to your question on those competencies too, as we round this out. And hi, everyone. I'm Dr. A.B. King. I'm the executive director for West Coast University, Texas. And speaking as both an employer for entry-level individuals, as well as when I'm working with other employers, agreed and ditto to everything that's been shared in terms of your soft skills, positive attitude, all those components. One piece that I think is also, I would add, is the idea of mindset or competency in having a growth mindset instead of just a fixed mindset. And the idea being a growth mindset is the willingness to and belief that that person can learn new skills, is seeking to learn, ready to take feedback, seeks it out from others, gets input from others, intellectually curious, has that learning agility. So it's the idea that you're not just have this innate set of skills and you have it all. And I say this because in my experience, I've seen very rare do we have an entry-level candidate that has 100% of all of those competencies. Yet if that person has a growth mindset, they are much more ready to accept feedback, coaching, training on the job skills, learning from others, they're seeking it out. And a lot of the research suggests that they are also more likely to succeed, retain, advance, and do those other components. So helping them to see that growth mindset and developing that mentality and assessing that on the front end, I think is also a really key skill.
Thank you. That was great. I love the growth mindset. I think as a high school teacher for many years, I think students don't realize that in the workforce, you cannot stop learning. You must keep learning no matter what you do. So I think that's a great point. Well, let's go ahead and look at our third question, because we're moving quickly through here and our time is moving quickly through here. The third question says, what are your company's core values? And I think we want to know what your company's core values are, because we want to embed them into our courses and into our pathways. So I'd love to hear some of the core values that you would have to share in your businesses.
Well, obviously, you know, some core values are honesty and, you know, those are givens, but I can read you our mission statement. To provide uncompromising hospitality and service to each guest and team member each and every time. Pretty simple, but a lot of people can't do it.
I agree. Yes, it sounds very simple, but there's a lot in that mission statement.
Yes, huge, a lot.
Beth, we're going through the process at the chamber applying for reaccreditation. And in our vision mission statement, we also include a set of core values. And my strategic planning task force has finalized a proposal for my board to consider. But they've changed some of the core values and reorganized them. So if you can just remember the acronym SPECIAL, it's service, partnerships, excellence, community, inclusiveness, integrity, agility, and leadership. Service, partnerships, excellence, community, inclusiveness, integrity, agility, and leadership.
That is awesome. I think I got it all. I tried to write it all down quickly there.
Just remember special.
Special. Would anyone else like to share about core values?
Beth, one of our taglines is actually to pursue the exceptional. And in doing so, we pursue the exceptional in everything we do. So between our interactions internally with our teams, with our managers, externally with our clients, prospective clients, every role that we have here, from our facilities all the way up to our leadership, everybody knows and understands that we're here to get better. And we're always trying to reach for the exceptional, knowing that there's always room to grow. A lot of that growth mindset that Amy was talking about, which 100% is what we also promote here. And I think just having students know that there's always room, right? Even your A+ student, there's always something that you can do to keep getting better, or keep delivering better, and no matter what interaction that is, and being fully open to that. Because I think a lot of people shy away from that criticism instead of understanding that it's not meant to, kind of discourage it all. It's all there to help us all get better collectively.
That's great. I love the exceptional there. I love that. I think one of the benefits of, or one of the things that I love about being in career and technical education and in this job, is that I get to see so many different industries and meet and work with so many different people. I always have to look back and think, wow, that industry is so different than education. But when it all comes down to it, we all are still seeking some of those same core values that you just said. So we want to teach our kids to be exceptional. I love the special acronym, all those things. Obviously, we want our kids to leave our schools with all of those things. So I appreciate you sharing those core values. Okay, let's look at question number 4. It is, what pre-employment training and skills are beneficial to your business? And so when I think about pre-employment training, just to give you a little bit of context from education, we love internships. We love for our kids to be out in the work-based learning type settings. We have kids who work in all different areas. But some of the things that we do in our classrooms actually mimic the business world or your industry world. So especially when I think of things like health science, and I know most of you know we have the fabulous Healthcare Careers Academy that's located in the old Methodist Richardson Hospital. And, just even having the students go there gives them that sense of this is what it's going to be like to work in this environment. So if you could kind of expand on those in different industries, I'd love to hear what you have to say.
I'll jump in real quick. I heard a question just a second ago that I think would kind of drive this a little bit. I heard we talked a little bit about phone and checking email, and I heard Microsoft Office being mentioned. So it really just, as we're thinking about this question, really like to see it framed even in technical skills. What are y'all seeing in the technical skill side? How beneficial would it be for a student to come out with knowledge of Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, Excel? I mean, really, when we're diving into this with your students, what do you really want them to know when they come to you? So like I said, anything along those lines on the technical and the soft skill side still too, but we would really love to dive into.
So yes, Excel, Word, Outlook, PowerPoint. I mean, I've had to use all of those. I've had multiple interns through the RISD internship program, and they came in and I'm like, all right, so put together this Excel spreadsheet, and they go, okay, what's Excel? And I'm like, okay, we're going to start at the beginning. So all of it.
I would also say like typing skills. I remember when I was in high school, like doing this, not even in high school, I think it was middle school, learning how to type. Not with just 1-2 fingers. I know a lot of us may still do that, and that's totally fine, but technology is so fast right now. And so I think that goes hand in hand of having the Outlook, having Excel, PowerPoint, things like that, being confident, because I've seen that some of the people that have come in entry level, the most confident ones on there is because they had that typing skills. I remember learning off a typewriter, and I know they don't do that any longer, but there is certain areas that would be very helpful when it comes to that aspect, I guess.
And if I could piggyback on the typing, that's huge. And I have 2 kids that are they're just now 5th and 9th. And I'm trying to get them to do like online typing classes so that they can learn, but they don't feel like it's important enough. And it hasn't been stressed enough in the classroom for them to see that it is a really great skill to have. So that would be a huge one. So thanks, Robin, because I didn't think about that. And it's a fight in my house. So can you come tell my kids to start typing?
Creighton, I'd also add SharePoint and Zoom or remote meetings, as we've learned over the past year.
You know, I think we have learned so many things from having to pivot to virtual world that we realize we can accomplish some things virtually faster than we can actually, you know, all get together, not get in your car and drive somewhere. I do think that that's definitely one of the benefits of having to learn how to do this, how to use this platform. It's certainly something I was not familiar with it a year and a half ago, but quickly had to learn.
One of our big pushes here in Richardson, along with a lot of our CT programs across the state, is industry certifications. So as you guys are going through resumes and looking for these potential candidates, how would you value seeing, or how much would you value seeing an industry certification, say in Microsoft Office Expert or something as you're going through? How would that move them to the top of the list? Just
Sure helps.
Yeah, it does help.
But, you know, Creighton, most employers are going to give, you know, applicants a competency test, even if they've got a certification. You know, we do that for both hard and soft skills, right? But, you know, so hopefully they can live up to the standard if they've got the certification. I've got one that from an entry-level skill perspective that, you know, I've observed a lot of young people kind of failing at, and that is they forget that what you post on your Instagram or Facebook account can sit out there forever. And they really need to clean up their online profile.
That is a great point.
We've embedded that into, as we were talking about the different things in CCR, starting with middle school. Right at that time, those kids are really starting to hit that age where they're getting their social media accounts. That's something we talk about with those students, not just preparing them for pathways, but that digital citizenship side of things. We really want them to understand the long-term effects of what they do. So something, like I said, we're really looking into, and we're really embedding in this new course we're rolling out this next year.
Well, it just needs to be constantly pounded out there. It's just, I've been shocked at what I've seen online, you know, for people that are applying.
I would like to piggyback off of that a little bit, if that's okay. Kind of what he said, I think it's really important because a lot of companies, if you are just, you know, family-owned based or you're a corporation, culture is very important to these companies. This is what we represent to the world, to our clients. Also, we represent to, you know, candidates that want to come and apply for us. And so there's going to be companies that are very inclusive, companies that, you know, really depend on their culture to drive the process. Because, you know, at BAL, we really look at, you know, being the exceptional. But we also want to make sure that we're providing, you know, a level of career progression for the people that are within us. We understand that people want to grow and want to do that. So making sure what's on your social media, it is a representation of yourself, but also the company that you work for. And so trying, like what he said, tell your employees, be careful what you say, because as a company, we represent something to the world and to our clients. And we want to make sure we mimic that with the people that are also, you know, employed by us.
That's a great suggestion in terms of culture. In the culture, I think the culture of your business goes right into your core values of your business. CCR, Creighton, we need to probably add into our little acronyms, stands for College and Career Readiness. And it is a class, but it's also a word we use a lot in all of our CTE classes, because that it's definitely all those skills.
I need Sandy.
Yeah. I've got 3 groups that I've booked June and July today.
Oh, you Judy, you don't believe?
Oh, okay, good. There we go. Okay, I'm lost my place here. Let's see. So we talked about some of the pre-employment training and skills. And I think we can use that to transition. It's almost 12:50, and I do want to get to the last question. So feel free to answer 4 and 5 kind of together. But when you think about a high quality talent pool for the next 5 to 7 years, because as Sari mentioned, your talent pool is in our schools right now. So we would love to hear about what you think that quality talent pool would look like for us to be able to focus on, and what are you looking for in the most immediate years, 5 to 7?
Well, this is Shyla. I just like to piggyback on what Amy said earlier about students who are the forward thinking, like they're always wanting to learn and to continue. Because we have 2 franchisee owners here, Kathy with Nothing But Cakes on Campbell Road, and Doug Cheek, he owns the Meineke on 75 in between Beltline and Spring Valley. And I just think about maybe if someone started working at Nothing But Cakes with working the cash register, they didn't realize that one day maybe they could be a franchisee owner. And so I think it does have to do with a lot of people. They have that, they're very motivated, self-motivated, and willing to work hard. And they just look at the possibilities differently. So there's a lot of opportunities. You don't have to necessarily be a baker, or you don't have to be the mechanic to own a mechanic shop, but you just have to have a lot of drive and hardworking attitude.
I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit. With our CTE pathways, we have a lot of very intentional pathways where our students are learning in middle school what they want to be, and then they are starting that pathway along their high school journey. So they're really figuring out, I want to be a mechanic. I'm in our auto tech program, or I want to be in hospitality. So I am working through our hotel internship program. I want to be a baker. So I'm working through our culinary program. So we love to make those connections with specific pathways and specific industries. And so if you guys have any technical skills that even you would like to share, we would love to be able to embed those into our actual specific programs of study to make sure that those kids understand those technical skills too, that they're getting, that can help you guys out, and they can jump in, hopefully with not a full bore need of training. They'll have some of that training done on the front end, and love to make sure that those students have those skills they need outside of just those soft skills.
Great, and I would say that one of the attributes of a real high quality talent pool has to be one that embraces lifelong learning. And the reason is that the pandemic has showed us that we need to be able to pivot our skill sets on a dime, and that jobs and the nature of jobs are changing rapidly, particularly because of technology. And, we may not know exactly what the demand, 5 to 7 years is going to look like. I mean, corporations have shortened their strategic planning horizons now to 2, 3, maybe 4 years because of uncertainty. And so everybody's got to be prepared to be agile about what they are able to learn and have a willingness to do that. If they're going to think that, well, I can just ride along my whole career on this one certificate, they're fooling themselves. They've got to embrace lifelong learning.
Yeah, and Bill, I can attest to that, having spent a year to learn cybersecurity in the Federal Defense Department. But along with that, in terms of the question, what we're finding in our occupation is that the handling, protection, and sharing of data has now come back into the workforce to the point where we're seeing so much data and intellectual property being stolen by adversaries that it affects not just the IT department. In a lot of cases, as companies we work with do manufacturing, and everyone on that production line is in scope for how they handle controlled unclassified information and what they do with it, who they share it with. So it's actually impacting the way businesses do business on a day-to-day basis across the entire employee base. So more awareness of how important data security is would be critical.
Do we have any other thoughts on our talent pool and what that will look like? Those are great, all great comments. I've been writing lots of notes. Do we have are there any other questions or comments? I have a couple of things to wrap us up, but we have 5 minutes, so.
Beth, I would say one thing. Maybe another way to frame the question is, what are the problems that you've seen with entry-level employees? And maybe that will help elicit what the solutions are.
I think, Beth, if I can add some things that I have seen is that people aren't able to take the initiative to really think about the bigger picture of things. So they are given a set of tasks and they can accomplish those tasks. But if there's something in that task that is maybe a little bit different or might lead them to have to think about something else, piecing all that together can be a struggle. And so just helping them be able to stretch their mind to know that, yes, you know, we want to accomplish certain things, but they fit into a bigger picture, and how to mold that and how that can change things. I think that would be really helpful for long-term success once they enter the workforce.
I agree completely. I think one thing we talk a lot about in education is that people want to know the why. Why is this important? And I know that I even see this, you know, working with some of the young people in our schools and even in the classroom. They just want to get the assignment done. But I think you have to be able to, as the teacher, you've got to start with, you know, the why. And when we work with our different internship programs, I know that little picture and just getting that one little task done sometimes is at the top of their list, because they may be wanting to go home, or they may be thinking about the weekend, because they're all still really young. But the why and looking at the big picture, I love that comment. I love that. Any other thoughts on that area?
I was just going to jump back in and say, well, one, thank you all for sure, but want to say we're continuing through CTE to continue not just to embed those soft skills and try to create your future workforce, but trying to even dive down into your individual industries. What things do you need in your industries via soft skills, via what does your culture look like in your community? What does your culture look like on your in your job force? And then what technical skills do those kids need? Because we want to create that pipeline for you guys. So even from a broad view all the way down into our individual pathways, I just wanted to say thank you guys for your input for sure today.
So that's a perfect opportunity for me to segue and tell y'all that we're going to do this again in the fall, and we're going to be able to do it in person. And I think it would be really beneficial to be in person and to actually be around some round tables where we can move around the room and maybe facilitate some different more in-depth industry discussions. So be on the lookout for that. I think that that will obviously come out through the chamber, and we'd love to have any of your colleagues or anyone who you think this discussion would benefit. So be on the lookout for that. I think we originally talked about maybe October. So once school is back and back to the future and back to normal, and that we are able to be virtual, to be in person, and have you all in a big room together, I think would be awesome. And I look forward to that discussion. So I love the things we've heard today. I have just a few highlights, because, you know, a good teacher always is going to summarize at the end of class. So we talked a lot about communication and fundamentals for students and for entry-level employees to have, problem-solving skills, a growth mindset, setting expectations. We all like to know what is expected of us. So we started this today and we expected to meet for 1 hour, and we are right at 1 hour. So if you have any further questions, Creighton and I can stay on for a few minutes, but we so appreciate your time today. We really, really do.
Thank you.
Christy, I
Great
wanted
job,
to give a
Beth.
shout out about our website. Darn it, I forgot to do that.
Oh, send them an email.
That's okay.
True, true. Good idea, Nancy.
Y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. That was great.
Pray for no rain for our 3 graduations.
Rain, rain, go away.
Hey, great job, Beth. That was awesome.
Christy, do you have anything that comes to mind? Did we leave anything? I really wanted to tell them to look at our website. So Mallory, do you have a list of all the participants?
Yes, I should be able to send that out for you.
Okay.
Here's the link that I sent in the chat goes directly to the programs of study, but the link that I just put in here, the second one, goes to the home page.
Yes.
So I don't know which one. Probably best to go to just the home page.
Hey, Mallory, perhaps we can at some point do a follow-up article in the newsletter, the chamber newsletter, and direct people to that website as well and say it was a great conversation. We got some great feedback and we're going to do it again. And if you want to read more, go here.
Okay.
So Beth, Creighton, Christy, Sari, did you get what you had hoped for out of this?
Definitely. I think it was great. So, and like I said, we're really trying to work within those soft skills and trying to embed those across. I know that's still a big need across this group of students coming through, especially with the move of cell phones. So something we're still continuing to work on. We'll continue to embed those in the pathways and add some technical skills in there too. So no, it was a great start, a great program.
And I do love the comments about Microsoft Office. We know that, but we need to work on that too.
It's kind of stunning how little some kids do know and how unimaginative they are in seeking out solutions. Like it scares me when I can Google something more than my kids, and Beth knows my kids, and they're
they can usually figure out most everything, right?
I know they can, figure out how to buy tickets online, but they can't go Google and figure out somebody's home address. Although I will tell you that they both came through RISD and both took keyboarding in like the 4th or 5th grade, I think. A skill that has worked well for both of them.
Awesome. So I do that with my son.
I had a conversation. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Creighton.
No, I was going to say, I think the pandemic helped us being at home. All my son, everything he ran into, we sat down and worked through how are we going to solve this? How are we going to email our teacher? How are we going to advocate for ourselves? Those problem solving skills are great. And just not even what I'm doing at home, but we as teachers kind of being parents in the classroom too, teaching those kids those same skills, teaching them how to advocate for themselves and how to email their teachers, how to just do different things, I think, along that, and being professional and how to problem solve. Problem solving is still one of the biggest issues that we work through and that we work with our kids with, problem-based learning. So working in groups, working at teamwork. So I think we're moving in the right direction in that field. I really do, but it's going to be a lot of work for some of our students.
I thought it was good.
I was talking to Ramona Harper from Lake Highlands this morning, and she mentioned wanting to add BIM to all of the business pathways that it's in their program of study. And after this conversation today, I don't think that would be a bad idea, because then that is teaching them those Microsoft Office skills and giving them a chance to be certified in those classes. So that might be something we want to revisit.
Okay, what is BIM? I knew every other one. I don't know BIM.
Business Information Management. It's a class where they learn the Microsoft Office suite.
And Kim, that's the class that we get in the past has been our class that we get all of the Microsoft certifications in. We're trying to move to getting those into some of the other classes, but BIM is, honestly, it's such a
it should be required for graduation.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
It should be a graduation requirement, in my opinion. We're such a computer society, but I don't rule the world anymore, right?
We are computer driven. That is for sure. Honestly, I need to take Bim.
I was gonna say, I gotta jump off. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, Creighton.
Thank you. It's good to see
Thank
you guys.
you. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Mallory.
Have a great one.
Bye. Great
Bye.
job, Mallory, Beth, everybody.
See y'all.